Guys, so nice to talk to you today. Let me start with a question for Lauren. I was amazed to see that you're not only the author of the book, but you're also the creator and sole writer of the series the book is based on. How did that come about?
I through a series of unfortunate events. No, no, it was wonderful. It was a long process. Honestly, it had to do with it really emerged over time. I will say, I will shout out the studio was unbelievably supportive, and really took an enormous risk by putting and consecrating that responsibility into my hands. It could only have happened, obviously, with the support and participation of all of the executive producers who actually knew what they were doing, and really worked to really help me learn and grow into that process. And also the cast was enormously helpful, patient, and I just had an enormous amount of material kind of alchemy to work with through their talent. And so it's the only way it could have gotten done, because otherwise it was an exhausting amount of work and really overwhelming. But it allowed it to be not only possible, but to literally energetically be able to occur. So thanks to all the people you see on screen, also with you now.
Now, for the actors, what was the aspect of the show that got you the most excited about being part of the cast?
Was first.
Yeah.
Olivia.
Oh, you go, Olivia.
You go. You chimed in. You go.
No. I was just like, it just seemed, it was at a time where I was getting, it was, I mean, you guys were on it since the pilot, but I remember reading it and thinking this would be so much fun. And just wanting to be in, like, finding out I was in, like, Austin, Texas. That was also a pretty cool element to it. I know that you guys filmed the other pilot in New York, but I was, like, really pumped to, like, see Texas and be, like, I don't know, just out there and running around being bad teens. It seemed like something I would want to watch. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I was just always, grateful for the opportunity. We shot the pilot in New York, which was a task in and of itself. We were shut down by thunderstorms. Like, it seemed like the thing was totally cursed. And there was like a year where we didn't know if we were going to be able to work with each other or what was going to go on. So when we got the call that, we were going down to Texas, like, this show brought me to the great state of Texas, which I loved. The first thing I did was I bought a pair of cowboy boots and to be able to just to be able to hang out with these guys for 7 months and, just really get to know them and really get to have fun. Ultimately, we got to have fun doing this because of, the way that Lauren wrote the show. It's such a fun show. And that is the best, when you're working and you're just having a ball with your friends. It's an amazing, gig.
Olivia.
I remember, because I did the pilot in 2018. And so, I think originally, it was just a thing where, I was a really young actor and I had been auditioning for a super long time and I got it. And it was something that, worked for, my age. And it was a thing where I was like, this is a very, interesting script, and I got to read the whole thing. And then what really got me excited from the beginning was for my chemistry with the other actors. The producers were there and it was like a room of women, and I was like, oh, this is really this would be such a blessing to get to have my first really big job be with all of these female producers and a female creator and writer, and there were female directors on the show, and that was something that I had been excited. And then when it got to that final audition process, I was like, man, I really hope that this works out, because this would be a really cool opportunity to get with an entire team of these creative women to make the show. And what?
Want to hear Cameron's too? Yeah. Thank you also. Yeah, that was really special.
I think something that really drew me into this project that made me excited about it was when I got the audition. I auditioned for the pilot. I didn't get the pilot. But I remember like trying to read the book.
Yeah.
I remember trying to read the book and as fast as I could in time to audition, and I was like really excited because Lauren's work is like really, really like beautiful. And when I got the call like a year later to come and audition again, I was really excited to find out that it would be taking place in Texas and I'd be working with all of these beautiful, wonderful people because they're so fun, but also because I'd never been out of the state of California for like longer than a month. So that was an entirely new, fun, exciting experience for me. And it was really fun, just in general.
Speaking of the book, Lauren, I read the book right after watching the series, and I was surprised that there are quite a few differences, especially in the characters, in the way they are, from the book to the series. And since you wrote both, I'm wondering, how did those changes come about?
Well, I mean, I'll have to use Ray as a perfect example because he's the best example. You know, the character of Ray in the book, even as we were I was going into adapting it into a show. I said famously, you know, every character in the series is going to have dimension and depth. This is before we cast Ray Nicholson. I said, everyone's going to have dimension, you know, except for Ray Hall. He's just a piece of shit. Okay. That's what I said. Anyway. And then when Ray Nicholson, we decided to cast him, I realized when watching him that I couldn't commit to hating him as a cardboard character. I didn't believe it and I couldn't commit to it. And so that's what I meant about the alchemy. And so he's a perfect example. So then but that was a huge part of the plot, him being this kind of two-dimensional villain. So all of a sudden, all of that had to get reshaped. But so I say he's the best example, but he's not the only one. You know, Jess and Cameron and Olivia herself, all of the ways, you know, I hate referring to them as tools because they're live humans. But the tool set of screenwriting includes, right, as a positive limitation, like paint palettes, the actors and what they see. And that was the part of it that I thought was, I mean, as a writer, as a geek, like a real nerd for writing, that is such an amazing thing to have experienced, right? Because you have to then it's these living forms. And that's what I mean about alchemy. And I was really amazed at, there were moments even when I watched the footage back where they would find these almost gaps and pieces in the lines that I could never imagine. So it really came out of working with live creative forces. That's where those changes came from. And I'm really glad. I'm really grateful for that.
Me too. I love the changes. I love that the direction that you took with Ray's character. It was just everybody. It was just like, just a little bit extra.
Really our direction. That's the great thing. Then it's ours. It's ours. It's mine and Ray's. And also all of the people around Ray, right? Because, you know, he found that in the context of working, I believe, Ray, correct me if I'm wrong, but you find that in the context of working with the ensemble also. Is that correct?
Yeah. I mean, you know, like I was glad just from the jump that everybody gets along. You know, like that was really the most important thing. And like the number one thing that I learned is it's really a team effort. You know, there's not so much pressure on the individual because like Cameron is one of the most supported people that like I've ever worked with. And Jess like was my bunk mate, you know what I mean? So like we got to like be like, oh God, you know, like, so it just, you know, it informs the whole thing. And, you know, but I'm used to auditioning for pieces of shit, you know. So I you know.
So this was a nice change for you.
It's, you know, it's a change of pace for me as a person usually, but it was nice. Yeah.
I just have time for one more question. I'd love to talk to you guys for so much longer, but let me ask you, what was your favorite scene and all those crazy stunts? Did any of you get to perform any of them yourself?
Yeah, I think we did a fair amount of the stunts. Of course, we had like incredible stunt doubles.
Yes, we did.
But yeah, I feel like we got to like dabble in each of the stunts that we did.
Drive the cars for then they just let you drive.
Yeah, they let the guys like drive for the derby, which
we got to crash the cars.
Yeah, that was pretty fun.
which Jess and I were so jealous of.
So jealous. I was so jealous that day. I was like, that looks like so much fun.
Also, hanging out with stunt guys in Texas is like
Nothing
the
like
most
it.
manly thing that one person can do. You know, it's like unbelievable. And yeah, I mean, I actually made a bet with Jeff Schwan, who was the stunt coordinator. I had to reverse the derby car to hit another car to get in front of a camera. And he bet me $100 I couldn't get the wheel on this dime, and I bet him, and I got the wheel on the dime. He gave me $100. I was like,
Wait,
no,
really?
He's like,
That's
no,
amazing.
Yeah, it was fun.
Love
Thank
that.
you so much, you guys. This is such a fun series to watch. Really exciting as well, and wishing you all the best with it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Take care, guys.